But what is going on YouTube? We are picking the fantasy team for my team this year. I really want to take some input from people on TikTok, on YouTube to help me pick my starting 11. Now, I do have a general idea on the team I want to pick, the players themselves, but I do want to get some input on some people. So, again, anyone in here does tell me to pick someone, I want to get some reasons why I should pick those players because obviously you only get 100 points when you're trying to pick your squad, but there are some good picks, there are some bad picks, and obviously there's ones that most people you almost have to pick for the most part. So let me just log into my fantasy premiere here for the most part, and we're going to go from there. So again, if you have anyone that you think I should pick up, let me know who that should be. And obviously one of the big ones is going to be Mohamed Salah. I feel like he has to almost be in every team, but the problem is if you have Salah in each and every team, you're not making yourself any different from anyone else. So that's one of the big talking points when it comes to Premier League. Take Cole Palmer for sure. I'm pretty sure Cole Palmer will be in my team here. So let me get to where we're at here and let me just start this up. So again, I have this screen going on, so you're not going to be able to see the team I actually picked. So if you're curious on who we're all going with, let me know. So Cole Palmer, let's see, he's going for 10.5 million, which I mean, it's not a bad price for him. First 3 games, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Fulham. Yeah, that's a guy you definitely want to have on your squad. Probably going to be captaining him as well. I mean, it makes most sense to captain him. So let's do that. So I'm just thinking now, if Chelsea are playing them, it would make sense to probably go with Enzo Fernandez as well with him. But I'm not too sure what I want to do yet within the midfield. But that being said, let me see who else we got here. My thing is, I think when you're picking your team, you always want to go with heavy midfield for fantasy, and you usually have one or maybe 2 strikers you really want to deal with. I mean, it's always interesting to me because I feel like when you have your wingers for fantasy, they should be counted as strikers. Like Mohamed Salah should definitely be a striker, in my opinion. He shouldn't be a midfielder, but that is what it is. Virgil van Dijk, let me look at him. So right now we're just going to be picking players, so that's totally fine. Obviously, we may go over what people think here. So let me see. I think Virgil van Dijk is 6, if I'm not mistaken. So let me just see here. Oh, wait, what's going on here? Hold on, I gotta back up just a little bit here. There we go. All right, so my computer's going a little slow here, so give me a second to look at Virgil van Dijk. But I think he's 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 6. 6 isn't too bad, actually. I mean, let's put him in defense for right now. I mean, if you think we should go with Virgil van Dijk. So right now we got Cole Palmer, Virgil van Dijk. One of the players I'm looking at, though, is Gvardiol. I think for him, for City, makes a lot of sense. I know we have Nuri up here. He's also a good pick. But if we're looking at Manchester City players, he's 6 million. They play Wolves, Tottenham, and Brighton. Now, that Tottenham game is always difficult for City. I don't know why they always struggle when it comes to playing Tottenham. Maybe it's different now with Thomas Frank as their manager, but Tottenham's always difficult for City. So maybe I don't take him because Wolves should be an easy clean sheet for City off that first match. Guardiola will play CB, though, through all this. Well, I don't know if you saw with the updates. I think Guardiola is going to get those extra 2 points with the extra defensive points they put in. I don't know if Nori's going to get all those points. So therefore, again, that would make sense to have him. He does score goals too, whereas Nori is probably going to pick up some assists. I don't know how often he's going to score, but Guardiola definitely scores a lot more. I'm thinking on Marmoush ball now. Yeah, Marmoush is definitely going to be going in the squad here, but I haven't got to him just yet. Guardiola will play CB because of yeah, he definitely play. Thoughts on Bruno? I haven't got to Bruno. We literally just started, so I haven't looked at everyone yet. I'm going to put Gvardiol in my team for right now at 6 million. And like I said, we're going to pick all these players. It's probably going to go above the 100 million, so then we're going to have to trim back down for the most part. So right now we have Virgil van Dijk, we have Gvardiol, and we have Cole Palmer for our players right now. And again, we're going to just add these other players in. I probably should look at a keeper right away. Keeper, we can wait till the end. So let me just see here. There we go. There we go. And I feel like Mohamed Salah has to be in your squad too for the most part. But if we go Mohamed Salah, Cole Palmer, Marmoush is Marmoush is he midfield? Or where is he at? Marmoush. He's a midfielder. Again, he should be a striker. I don't understand why he's a midfielder. So Marmoush is 8.5. So right now, with just those players that we just picked for the most part, we have 5 players picked. And we're at 54.5 million that we can use left. I don't know if we can stick with all these players. Having two Man City mid is not a good idea. Probably not. So, well, Gvardiol is a defensive player, and then we got Marmoush, but I do kind of want to put Savino into this, so I may take out Marmoush for him for the most part. Have we got a private league? I'm not in any league, so if you guys have a league you want me to join in, or if we start a league, we can definitely do that. I've never started a league. Totally up for doing that though, for the most part. Let me know if you guys have one for me to join. Saliba, is Salah worth it? I do think Mohamed Salah. I mean, if you look at Mohamed Salah, just look at his history of what he's done in the Premier League. Look at his fantasy. He is the guy you definitely need to have on your side each and every match. Now, whether you captain him, vice captain him, you're most likely going to get a lot of points off him. So again, you almost have to make room for him, despite the fact that he's 14.5 million. It's still well worth it. It's the same with almost Erling Haaland. And I'm gonna actually look at him because how much is Haaland as of right now? Haaland's 14 million. I mean, if you're picking between Haaland and Mohamed Salah, I would go with Mohamed Salah for the most part because he's going to get the goals, he's going to get the assists for the most part. Got Rice, Xhaka, and Salah or Haaland. Yeah, do you watch the Premier League from America? Yes, I watch. We actually do live commentating for Chelsea matches, so yes, we watch it from America. Get Bruno. Let's look at Bruno. So again, right now, you guys just throw names out. We are going to then obviously have way above the max amount because if we put Bruno in here, we put Haaland, that's going to just jump me way across with only having like 6 players here. But let's put, I'm assuming Bruno Fernandes, not Bruno Guimaraes, if we're just making sure here. But Bruno Fernandes is at 9. Actually, that's not bad at all for Bruno for 9. And he's definitely going to do a lot better. Not having Sar is a mistake. We just started picking our squads here. So I could definitely put, and I'm assuming Sar for Crystal Palace. So give me a second here. Um, Reinhardt is going under the radar. I think Reinhardt is definitely going to be a great player. That's actually going to be the name is Superpower Reinhardt. So I'm not sure if you guys like that name or not. Let me know. But we'll look at Reinhardt. How much is he? Reinhardt is 5.5. Oh yeah. Yeah, even if he doesn't start right away, that's a great bench player to have for 5.5 for a City midfielder. Yeah, we'll put him in there. Is getting a CDM worth it, like I say, because of the new point system? I mean, it makes sense to have Caicedo or Rodri, but besides those 2 players, I wouldn't go with many CDMs. I wouldn't go with Ugarte. I don't think that's a good option. I wouldn't go probably for Gravenberch from Liverpool, but Rodri and Caicedo still get assists or goals. Like if you look at City last year, or sorry, 2 years ago, Rodri still scored, I think, double digits, and Moise Caicedo had multiple assists, or should have had multiple assists last season to Jackson, and especially with Liam Delap and João Pedro, he's going to pick up more assists. He plays a perfect through ball. Caicedo loves yellows. That is true. I mean, most CDMs love picking up yellow cards. It's the nature of their position. They're stopping attacks, so eventually they're going to pick up yellow cards. But with the new point system, I do think CDMs can actually be a better pick for some of your midfielders because not that we're going to pick any of them, but let me just look right here. So Rodri is going for 6.5, which again, I think is way undervalued for a player such as himself. So again, that might be a good pickup. If we're looking at Caicedo, he's 5.5. He had 98 points last year. And I'm going to assume he played 38 matches. So you take the 38 times 2. So again, I'm not sure, my math is not mathing right now in my head. So let me just give me 1 second as we look this up. So 38 times 2. That's an extra 76 points plus 98. So with the new system, Moise Caicedo should have got 174 points total, which again, if we're looking at that, that's a pretty good solid pick for 5.5. Now, again, I think this year is going to be a lot difficult to pick out your players because with the new system, a lot of players are going to start jumping around like crazy, especially the offensive players. Back four of Ola, Ania, Saliba, Gvardiol, and Kirkes. Kirkes is definitely a solid pick. Do the time zones bother you much in terms of watching Premier League? Not really. I actually prefer watching them in the morning because I watch my games and then I start my day. I make a cup of coffee, watch 2-3 games if I'm able to, or again, I commentate on the Chelsea matches whenever they play, whether it's a Saturday, Sunday. though they do play Fridays and Mondays all the time, so that doesn't help me out. But I actually enjoy watching the Premier League early morning or even the Bundesliga. So in my mind, I'm so used to watching in the morning. It'd be weird to watch a Premier League at night, to say the least, because I've been watching like that for 20 years roughly. So I've been fairly used to watching it that way. All right. So we have right now, I'm just looking at here. So we got our midfield currently right now, which again, this is not anything set in stone. We got Marmoush, we got Palmer, Mohamed Salah, Bruno Fernandes, and Reinhardt. I think that's a pretty good, solid midfield. But again, we're probably going to go way over our budget. We have 40 million left with, let's see here, 6, 7, 8 spots left yet. Who are you going to take for your forwards? Forwards, we haven't looked at any forwards just yet. I like Caicedo and Enzo, but took out Caicedo for Soboslai. Is that all right? Soboslai is a, a risky pick, in my opinion, right now because of the players they brought in. I don't know if he's going to be starting every single match. There is a possibility that he is not going to be the starting midfielder for them. And therefore, again, if he does start, yes, he can score goals, but I would still say it's a bit of a risk. But if you do want to believe in him, it's not a bad place. Is it worth having two defenders from one team? I mean, it can be. I mean, if you have, like, look, if you had Arsenal last year with how many clean sheets it picked up, I think they had 13, or even with Nottingham Forest, that's 13. That's not bad to have two of those. Granted, if you're going to pick two defensive players from the same team, I'd probably pick the right back and the left back, and maybe a CB. So, like Gabriel, and then possibly MLS for Arsenal, just for an example. Not that I'm going to pick those guys, but I'd go something like that. I wouldn't go with both CBs because they're not going to score as much. Do I go for Kudus or either Beto or Mark Gui for Anderson for 6? I would go with Mark because right now he's under Chelsea for 5.5, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just pull him up. Yeah, 4.5. So, okay, that's our first forward we're picking up. He's 4.5. He just is going on loan for Sunderland. It makes total sense to pick him up because he should be starting for Sunderland, or he's going to get a lot of minutes. For 4.5, you're not going to get a better striker in your team for that value for a guy that's going to play a lot. So I would definitely go with him, and he's in my team right now for the most part. Thoughts on the back line of Gabriel, Paul Torres, that's a guy I haven't heard in a while. Frimpong and Livramento. I like that backup line. I mean, I think that's pretty good. Paul Torres could be your variable there because I do believe Gabriel, Frimpong, and Livramento are going to score well. I don't know how Aston Villa, how they're going to do this year. I mean, I think they will do fairly well, but you never know. I picked Verts. I'm probably going to pick Verts is a midfielder though too, so I guess I would have to make room. How much is Verts? Let me see. I kind of want to have him actually in my team. So how much is he? Verts is 8.5. That's not terrible for midfield, but then you have to talk about who you're going to take out. So Marmoush, Palmer, Salah, Fernandes, and Reiners, which currently I'm going to keep that midfield. So right now we still need 3 defenders. We need 2 goalkeepers and 2 more forwards. Defender-wise, we have Virgil van Dijk and Gavardiol for the picks right now. Salah, Nadia, or Verts and Palmer plus better striker. I have Beto right now with Holland. Beto for Everton, I mean, could be a good pick. My only debate for Everton is that I don't think they score a whole lot of goals. I mean, they're going to win matches, but I don't think they're going to be blowing teams out with multiple goals, and therefore you're kind of risking it with Beto. He may score a goal here and there, which obviously is going to be great for his value, but there's going to be a lot of games he's not going to score a goal. With Torres, because of Villa's defensive record and pretty easy stretch of games after week 1. I mean, that's a nice thing too. And I don't know if they've always had this, and maybe I just missed it, but when I'm clicking on the players right now, I'm actually seeing their first 3 matches. Is that something that they've always had and I just completely missed it? Or is that something they just started adding this year? Because I remember you'd obviously see their next match, but I don't remember seeing game week 1, 2, and 3, which again is kind of nice to see that. And who are we just talking about? Sorry, I'm just blanking. Oh, you're talking Paul Torres. I actually want to see who they're playing. So Torres, why is he not popping up? Let's see here. Paul. Oh, it's Jesus and Paul. Okay. So Aston Villa, they're playing Newcastle, Brentford, Crystal Palace. I would say that's still a good matchup for week 1 against Newcastle. Newcastle right now, I don't know what to expect from them. I thought they're going to be a better team, but obviously with what's going on with this transfer window, they might not be as good as I thought they were going to be. Everton also brought in Barry, who will contest Beto for minutes. Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, like I said, Everton, if I'm to pick any Everton players, it's probably going to be a defensive player. Tarkowski is probably going to be one of the guys if I'm looking at them. Maybe, I'm trying to think, their midfield. Why am I blank? Is it McNeil? Is that his name? Let me just double check here. I think he's the other guy I would definitely pick. Yeah, McNeil would be my other pick for Everton. Not that I'm saying I'm going to pick him, but if I'm looking at Everton, those are probably the two guys I would stick with. So I'm going to look at strikers here for a second. Let's see here. I kind of want to put Gyökeres in my squad too. I feel like that would be a good pick. But my thing too, when you're coming to your fantasy, you want to also, yes, you want to pick obviously the best players, but you also want to pick players that most teams do not have that you do believe are going to do well, because like I said, once the season kicks off, it's a merry-go-round. People are trying to always catch up to you, so you can actually get ahead of the curve. And yes, you may have a bad week or two in the beginning, but if you can actually hold on to some of these players that are going to do well, it makes sense. And oh, man, Fulkrug from West Ham actually might be a good pick too. I think he has the capability of being a good pick. Ekitike, 8.5. That's too much. I know someone said Barry for Everton. He's at 6. I don't mind that. Why Gyökeres? Gyökeres is at 9. So let's just throw him in for now. We have 22 million left. Need 2 goalkeepers, 2 defensive players, and another forward. So let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we did 5, 4 million. We could do this squad. Holy cow. Actually, this might work. Let's see here. What do you think about this midfield? Verts, Palmer, SA, and Kuna. I like that. That's actually a pretty good midfield. I mean, I'm not too sure. Let me just look at Bruno Fernandes here as I'm looking. So here's the thing with United. They play Arsenal first right off the bat. I think that's going to be a difficult match for them. Granted, like I just said, if you can outweigh that first match, then they play Fulham, which that could still be a toss-up, and then Burnley, which that should be a good game for United. So, I mean, Kuna would make sense, but I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes just because he's their free kick taker. So, again, it makes sense. Palace, LaCroix for 4.5. Let me look at him, because if I'm looking at Crystal Palace, here, actually, let me just go back here because it's trying to keep me on. Go here. Sorry, I keep looking at my computer here. So if I'm not looking here, I do mistake or apologize for not seeing if you guys post something here. So Crystal Palace, looking at their defenders, I think Mitchell actually might be a good, maybe not. I think Mitchell would be a good pick for 5. If we're looking at all their defenders, Mark Gui, 4.5. Yeah, actually, that would make sense to go with him. 4.5. He had 116 points last season. Munoz, though, had 142 for 5.5. I'm going to see if I can kind of finagle the rest of this squad here, though, for the most part. Marmoush, Palmer, Mbomo, Verts, Rogers in the midfield. I like that, too. I mean, really, like I said, if you can stack your midfield with players that are going to score well, you don't need as solid defenders or strikers. Granted, you still want to have a ridiculously good striker, but I mean, if you're doing that with your midfield, I think you should do quite well. I've gone bald and gone for no Salah and Holland. I mean, that's ballsy, I'll say, but you got to remember how much they score. Like, you are then trying to catch up to players, and granted, they're not going to score ridiculous each week, but I mean, Mohamed Salah still. I mean, I'm trying to think if he had even a bad week last year. Points per match last year was 9.1 for Mohamed Salah, and obviously that was number 1 of 301. It's hard not to pick him. First match, Bournemouth, Newcastle, and then Arsenal. He still does well against even the top 6 teams. So again, despite the fact that he's going to play Arsenal, he's still going to score. Thoughts on Chris Wood this season? I mean, Chris Wood could be a good pick. I do think last year was a bit of a fluke for Nottingham Forest. I don't know if they're going to do as well as they did this past year. Granted, they still are a good side. Morgan Gibbs White's going to be there, so obviously they still have that midfield presence with him. But like I said, I don't think they can do as well as they did last year. So yes, he could be a good pick, but I haven't looked at what his price tag is just yet. So I'll look at him in just a second. But let me Let me try to finish out this defensive line. So I need one more defender right now. We have Torres, Guy. I feel like I'm mispronouncing Mark Guy's. Is it Mark Guy? Virgil van Dijk, and Gavardio. So I'm just trying to think. I'm going to try to do four here. Get Mark Gui because he's going to Sunderland and might start. I did pick him as my striker. Yeah, 4.5 is a solid pick for a striker. Let me just see here. We're going to try to pick another defensive player, but I don't, again, I want to go below. We're going to go four here, actually, on my defenders. And I'm just trying to see who would be the best 4 million defender. And I want to say it's got to be Alex Mourinho. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Klein might actually be a good choice too. And really, we're just picking one of these guys to just hold a spot for us in our defense. So I'm going to actually go. I'm going to go to Aston Villa defensive players here because I'm not really going to rely on all of them. Alex Mourinho won't play. I know he won't play, but so if he's not going to play, why even pick him? Then let's go with Klein. Then I guess both are four. Esteve will get 90 minutes most games. How much is he? Let me look. Esteve. Oh, he's 4 too. Okay, we'll go with Esteve. Is that I'm not sure if that's how his name is pronounced. So, but we will go with him. Actually, we'll take out Klein and put him in for 4 million. I'm trusting you, saying that he is going to play 90 minutes, Archie. So you better not be wrong on that one. Despite the fact that again we're picking him just to hold a spot because now we have 13.5 million. We need two goalkeepers and we need one more striker because right now we have Mark and we have Gyökeres as our starting number 9 for the most part. If you don't have Salah, you're not getting any points. Yeah, exactly. That's why Mohamed Salah is in my midfield. Him and Cole Palmer. I feel like you have to have Mohamed Salah. Not that you have to have Holland as well, but you have to have one of the two. It's just one of those. If you don't have it, you're just chasing points the entire time. And I mean, Holland, could we throw Holland actually in there with this? With Gyökeres, Mohamed Salah, and Palmer? Hmm. I might think about that actually. Last time he didn't get 90 minutes in league matches was February. Pick Petrovic for Bournemouth. He's going to cook. I mean, being that he played for Chelsea, he did well with Chelsea. How much is Petrovic actually? Let me see. Oh wait, we're on defenders. Hold on. All players. Hold on. Let me just see. Petrovic, 4.5. I mean, that's not bad for a goalkeeper. I guess we'll go with Petrovic. So we have 9 million. We need two players yet. We need a goalkeeper and another forward here. So I think the obvious choice for a goalkeeper then would be just someone that's 4 million. So let me just see here. Who do we have left for 4 million for goalkeepers? Dubravka, but he's gonna be behind Nick Pope. Kingsley, he's behind Vicario. Bentley behind Sa. Vadman Morrison, Brentford. I mean, none of these guys are going to play. So, I mean, Petrovic, we kind of have to rely on that he's going to be starting, which I do believe he will start. He's playing against Liverpool. What is Petrovic's first 3 matches? Let's look at this. Liverpool, Wolves, and Tottenham. We can't go with Petrovic. No, we have to drop him. That's too risky of a goalkeeper off the bat. Let's go with it for 4.5 actually. I do understand why you want Petrovic, but I would not go. What do you think about Isak, Gyökeres, and João Pedro? I think that's perfect starting striker positions, having those 3 guys. Don't pick Kelleher. Bournemouth haven't been doing very well in this Premier League summer series. That's the only thing. Yeah, did Bournemouth lose? They lost to West Ham today. I think, what was it, 2-0? Or was it more than that? I didn't see the final of that match. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't even see how United did today. So, Trafford, Verbruggen might be at best 4.5. Let me look at goalkeepers here. Let me just pull up. He's 4.5. Jose Sa is 4.5. I do kind of like that though too. I mean, here's the thing. For keeper wise, I mean, it makes sense to get a guy that's going to face a lot of shots. Granted, they're not going to get clean sheets, but they're going to get a lot of saves. So that being said, man, I want to go. I think I'm going to go with Sa, or it might be, man, Kelleher might be the option. Brentford. I Yeah, I'm going to go with him, I think, as my starting goalkeeper. They play Nottingham Forest. This is for Brentford. They play Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, and Sunderland. That's not bad for goalkeeper. If you're going to pick 4 points, you could go with two of them just so you can rotate them. Yeah, exactly. But the only thing is here, so I'm at 9 million. I need a goalkeeper and I need a striker. Granted, we could just go right now because Gyökeres is. Well, actually, I don't know if Gyökeres is going to start that first week. He should. I don't know if he's fully going to start because, again, they're still probably implementing him into the system. So you can't fully rely on him being a starting striker. Jorgen Strand Larson for Wolves, though, I think, oh man, they play Man City, Bournemouth, and Everton. That's not, that first match might be a little rough. I'm going to select him for right now because what was he? Wait, what happened there? Restore. There we go. But that puts me at 2.5. I can't go with Larson. 100% ball knowledge, definitely one look at it if it doesn't become number one. Solanke, I mean, yeah, I do want to put Solanke into the squad, but so right now we're tinkering with it. I will flip my phone here real quick. Actually, can we just do this real quick? Can you guys see? Nope. I thought maybe if I flip my screen, you guys would be able to see. Is there a way I can actually change the background or no? So I was just thinking if I took a picture of this again, you'd actually see what I'm looking at, but probably not. So I do apologize. So let me take him out. So right now we're still looking at another goalkeeper. We're just going to go with 4 million. So I'm going to go with Daniel Bentley. Bentley? Yeah, there we go. Why am I blanking here? Man City, Bournemouth, Everton. Yeah, Wolves. Okay, yeah. Okay, he's definitely not starting. And then forwards, we have 5 million left now. So right now, current squad, and looking at what you got here, Diouf was class today at left back. I didn't see how well he did, but we'll come back. I want to look at him. Actually, let me just look at him now. But I do need a striker right now for 5 million. Granted, we are going to change this. I will run through real quick who we all have as of right now. But forwards for 5 million. Let's see here. Pretty much no one. So it does not matter who we pick here. So that being said, we might as well just go with Edouard from Crystal Palace. And that selects my starting. So right now, this is who we currently have, which again, we are now going to tinker with this. We have Keller for Nottingham or for Brentford, Bentley as our backup, but again, that's just a holding place for 4. Estivia, Paul Torres, Mark Gu, Gay, Virgil van Dijk, Gavardio on defense, Marmoush, Cole Palmer, Mohamed Salah, Bruno Fernandes, Reinertz, Marky, Gavardi or Gyökeres and Eduardo. That's not a bad team. I actually kind of like that. But I do, man, I may drop Bruno Fernandes, though. That's who I may drop as of right now. Gyökeres will flop. Trust me, less than 10 goals this season. I don't know about that. That seems ridiculous for him not to score 10 goals. I think you put Darwin Nunez in that squad. He would score 10 goals too. I have Salah, Palmer, Isaac, and João Pedro. I do like that. Man, remove Salah. If we remove Salah, it's 14.5. Okay, let's not that this is the final product yet. So we're going to remove Mohamed Salah. So we have 14.5 to play with now in the midfield. So let's go to midfield. Mbomo might be a good pick. Kuna, Semenyo. Oh, actually, Semenyo is a very good pick for Bournemouth. Let me go back. They play Liverpool, Wolves, Tottenham. But he's such a good player, though. Semenyo, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. He's a good player, and he's only for 7 million. I think actually we're going to stick with him. Now that leaves 7.5 mil for us to actually play around with for the most part. So I'm just thinking here who we could also move around. So we just put We took up Mohamed Salah. We put in Semenyo, who, again, I think is a good pick. We still have Palmer, which 7.5. If I take out my 5 striker here, 12.5 for a striker. Let's see here. For our forwards, who then can we pick up? We then can go with Isak, which isn't a bad choice either. So we dropped Mohamed Salah, picked up Semenyo, and then we also are going to be able to pick up Isak, which actually I kind of like. But, oh, you know what? Jared Bowden would actually be a really good pick, though, too, for West Ham. And that still then leaves us with 4.5. I kind of like that, actually. Bowen is a pretty good player. I don't think again, terrible team. Again, we haven't set the team yet. I'm just going with what people told me. Now we're tinkering around with what players I actually want because, like I said earlier, when you're picking your fantasy, you can't go off what everyone else picked. If you do, you're not going to get above other people. And granted, if you go out way too far, you're probably not going to compete with everyone else. But you can still tinker around and have a fine line with some of these players. So now we have Gyökeres and Bowen as my starting forwards, which I actually really do like. Midfield-wise, then we go with Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Cole Palmer, and Marmoush, which I also really do like. Backline, Esteve from Burnley, Paul Torres, Virgil van Dijk, and Gvardiol. That's a pretty good team. I still have quite a bit of money actually to spend now. So I have 4.5 here. I agree, not worth that 14.5. But again, when you're looking at the best fantasy player in probably almost the last decade, it's hard not to have Mohamed Salah in your squad here. Archie, check is a comment, brother. I showed a picture and only 6 mil. Bowen scored almost every game coming back from injury end of last season. Yeah, so again, I think he's a good pick. And West Ham, their first match is against Sunderland. They play Chelsea. I don't think they're going to beat Chelsea. And they play Nottingham Forest. I think they can win that match too. So really, and he was averaging 5.7 points. I mean, that's not terrible, especially with an injury last season. Yeah, we're gonna keep him. So that now being said, I'm looking at defenders. So I may want to change a few defenders here because if we go, how are you doing, man? I'm doing well, Henry. Welcome back. If we are doing our defense, I think I'm going to take out Crystal Palace here. So we have 9 million to play with. Let's go with defenders. I feel like defending wise, you can usually go big with some of your players because it is only 6 million. Do you like Broya? I don't mind Broya. I mean, I wish he would have not gotten injured and still played at Chelsea, but that is not the case. So 6 million. I'm between Cucurella and Saliba actually for my other pick here. Cucurella, I think, is going to score more goals, but I think Saliba is going to have more clean sheets. So that, oh man, that's a tough one there. Just thinking, Gabriel 6 million as well. All good picks. Colwell 5 million. Actually, that's not a bad pick at all. Colwell, Cuckoo better. You're clueless. Well, we're still trying to break down my team here. So take Cuckoo. All right, maybe we'll take Cuckoo. Foden could be a good differential if he is recaptured from the form. That is true. Actually, I didn't even look at how much Foden is. So first of all, we're gonna go with Cucurella. Yeah, well, I agree. We should go with him. All right, so Cucurella. So we still have 3 million then. So I'm gonna take out Reinhardt as of right now because I think he is our weakest player in that midfield. We'll go to midfield. We have 8.5 to play around with. I think Rogers seems like a good pick, but Morgan Gibbs White, I kind of want to pick him too. I know someone asked about Soboslai, but we're not going to go with him. James Madison, oh, man, it's a shame with his injury because he would be a good pick at 7, but I think he's going to be out for the rest of the season with that knee injury he just picked up. So obviously we're not picking him. Saka at 10 million. We could possibly swing that 10 million. We would need to drop 1.5 off of this squad. So actually, if I'm just thinking, we dropped Cucurella down to 4.5. we could put Saka into the midfield. So then we could have Marmoush, Palmer, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, and Saka with Gyökeres and Bowen as our forwards. Then we're looking at Gvardiol, Virgil van Dijk. Oh man, that's actually pretty good. I might do that actually. Rogers near must have in my opinion. Get Salah, bro. I had Salah, but we just dropped him to put Semenyo and Bowen in. So I'm gonna look at this for a little bit here because, in my opinion, Saka makes a lot of sense to put into this list. But actually, wait, how much is Alanga? Alanga 7 mil. Oh man, that's actually not bad either. Because I think Saka did 127. Oh, he was injured. That's right, though. That makes sense. Alanga did 153 for 7. All right, we're going with Alanga, actually. So, all right, currently, put Broya, trust. We'll see. All right, so currently, this is what we now have. So, keeper-wise, we're looking at Brentford with Keller. Then we look at our defense. And again, I'm just going to talk about my starting 11 here because obviously that's what really matters. My bench is always just god awful. I never really try to have anyone on my bench because it doesn't seem to pay off that often. So now we're looking at a back three with Cucurella, Virgil van Dijk, and Gvardiol. Then we're looking at our midfield: Marmoush, Cole Palmer, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, and Alanga. I do really like that. Gyökeres and Bowen as our starting up top. So what? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh man, actually, that's a really good squad. Holland always performs great at the start of the season, so he'd be an obvious choice. That is true. You are making a good point there that he does really go off in the beginning of the season. No Mohamed Salah, no Holland, no Palmer team is destined to fail, mate. You have to have one. Yeah, I have Cole Palmer, and I mean I would kind of agree with that. I'm not gonna. I still do. Let me look at Holland. It was 14, right? So we are at 1.5 left over. I'm just thinking who I would drop then. If I drop Gyökeres, that puts me at 10.5. We also have to drop one of those midfielders. So 7. Okay. We'll think about this for a second. He had like 7 or 9 goals in 3 games at the start of the season till now. True. I was just thinking what we want to do here. So let me see. Let me hold on. Let's see if we can finagle him into our starting 11 because I think you're right. Maybe Holland should be in this team. Nuri is a better pick than Gvardiol, strictly based on Gvardiol is now a CB. I mean, yes and no because Gvardiol is also still going to score goals. I think Nori does get some assists, but I don't think. Oh, hold on. Oh man, hold on. I just found a tick on me actually. Shit. Oh man, that's never what you want to learn. That's on your leg. Hold on, I gotta take care of this tick. Oh man, I don't like that. Felt something crawling on my leg, and then I just pulled off and ticked on me. Now I gotta check my entire body. Great. Um, that's not fun. Or what price is from Prong even? Levy Colwell. I might go with Colwell too here. Hold on. Sorry, I'm still dealing with this tick. I'm just gonna set right there for now so I don't forget about it. Oh man. Now I feel like I gotta check my entire body. Sorry, I'm losing concentration right now because finding a tick crawling on my leg is never a fun thing. All right. So let's go back here. You sure? Let's see. Which two I get? Frimpong, Gabriel, or Nori? I'm gonna go with. Oh man, this is why I like fantasy because there's so many different options you can go with. But man, I'm wondering Virgil van Dijk if we drop him actually, because I don't know if he scores as many goals as he usually does, and he might be a guy that Frimpong might be a better option. So let's actually go and look at that. Frimpong have had Bradley compete with, and Bradley is more defensive. Virgil van Dijk is guaranteed 90 minutes. That's true. Yeah, I guess, yeah, Virgil van Dijk is guaranteed to play almost the entire season. So that's no surprise there. Sorry, I'm still feeling like I have bugs crawling on my leg now. All right. So let's look at Holland. Let's look at him. Let's see how we can add him into the squad because I think you're right that we want to have him. But sorry, I'm just looking now because Holland scored 181 points last year. Isak scored 211. Isak is 10.5. Holland is 14. So in my mind, it doesn't make sense to put Holland in the squad if Isak is here. And if he moves to Liverpool, that just seems like a smart move to pick him up instead. 10.5, which if we were to pick him, now I'm debating if I take out Gyökeres actually. Man, that's a tough one. Marmoush, I could take out. I'm not going to drop Marmoush. Let's be real here. Could I drop Marmoush? Actually, this is what we're going to do. I have a feeling this. I like this idea. So we're going to drop 2 players. We're now going to have Isak, Gyökeres, and Bowen as my starting front 3. Midfield, I'm going to go with just a 4-point midfielder because the rest of the squad is already pretty solid. So let me change this here to 4. Or I have to have 4.5, don't I? Oh, man. Miley actually wouldn't be a bad pick from Newcastle. All right, so we drop Cucurella down to Marcu. That might be a better option. Oh, man. Would you keep Isak if he doesn't go to Liverpool? Yeah, I think I would still keep Isak even at Newcastle. He scored 211 points. And right now we're going to go assuming he plays for Newcastle. He plays Aston Villa, Liverpool, and Leeds. I do think he scores against all of them. He had a banger of a goal last year against Liverpool, so I do think he can do it again. So I'm not going to say he can't do that. Trust Turkey this whole season. Nuri last season had the most GNAs in the Premier League as a defender, bro, and he was at Wolves. That can't be right. He had the most goals and assists. I would have thought that would have been Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm not believing you on that one. Really? Wait, so let me. All right, we're dropping. All right, we're gonna drop Gavardiol then, because apparently that doesn't seem like a good pick. So, bro, I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, again, I'm not gonna take anything away from Nuri. I think he's a good player, and obviously going to City, he's gonna be a good option. So wait, sorry, I'm gonna pick up Miley to put in the Newcastle midfield. I have 3 Newcastle players now, though. That doesn't seem right to have 3 Newcastle players here. I'm not a Newcastle fan. I'm a Chelsea fan, which again, I'm not sure why. But now we have 5.5 to move for our for our defenders. So that being said, who are our options here? And I understand what you just said, but I'm trying to see if I can make this work. 5.5, Munez. That seems to be the most obvious choice to pick. Yeah. All right. So Man City's always under trustworthy because Pep Guardiola always changes tactics. Yeah, the roulette of Pep Guardiola is ridiculous. And sorry, I'm gonna just shamelessly plug my book here real quick. How to Win Like Pep, though. If you haven't read this book, it is on Amazon. It's free on Kindle. So again, I do like how Pep does his tactics, minus he has made the game a little bit boring, but he obviously understands how to change tactics for the most part. But anyways, he's only changed tactics really twice last season. He really changes his starting lineup. Yeah, that's a problem with City, though. I mean, you can't rely on your City players for the most part. Big on defense or midfield. I'm big on midfield, despite the fact that I just completely changed everything in my midfield. So I'm not too sure about this, but we made the changes to put Isak, Gyökeres, and Bowen as my starting forwards, which I think that is a ridiculous starting 3. So let me just look at this now. So currently, this is the squad we have now. So again, keepers didn't change, so there's no difference there. We have Keller from Brentford. And then for my starting defensive, I'm just going to talk about bench players, or not bench players. We're going to go with Cucurella, Virgil van Dijk, and Munez from Crystal Palace. So we're going to do the back 3. Then we're going to go with, it's going to be a 3-4-3. Midfield's going to be Cole Palmer, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, and Alanga. I Really do like that as well. And then our attacking third is Isak, Gyökeres, and Bowen. I I really do like this squad actually. This might be my final squad, but man, it just again doesn't sound right not to have Mohamed Salah or Erling Haaland in your squad at all. But Isak's such a good pick though too, and yeah, I think Gyökeres is a good pick. He had such a good season. Great pick with Bowen. Yeah, I really like Jared Bowen. I think he's a good player overall. And again, surprising he's still at West Ham. I would have thought by now someone else would have went for him and tried to buy him for the most part. But again, it's one of those things. Sometimes players just like playing where they're at. No way you said Slocky for Golden Boot. I did, yes. Lee, if you are coming in from one of my other videos, I did have him as the Golden Boot winner, but I do not have him in my squad. Maybe I should, but I've seen so many people pick Solanke that it's hard to pick him because I'm trying to differentiate my squad here by just a few degrees to make him that much better. And granted, I understand some of these players are going to be on other teams, but I highly doubt there's going to be people that have Isak, Gyökeres, and Bowen as their starting three. I can't imagine there's that many people. Midfield wise, I can't imagine many people have Semenyo and Alanga. I don't see that happening more often. Then the back line to have Munoz, Virgil van Dijk, Cucurella, that's probably more probable, but still, even that I don't think is a high rate. But that all being said, I think it's still a good, very good team for the most part. I do think I can move around a few different players here yet, though. Get Van de Ven, defensive. He's only 4.5. If he's only 4.5, then I'll take up Paul Torres actually and put him in because, oh, and actually, unless we take out, we take out Munoz, oh, man, but he's such a good player for Crystal Palace. Put in that gives me an extra 1 million, which then I could bump up my midfield to put in Reinertz again back in the midfield, which that would actually help my that might be better. I actually kind of like that. Whoever said that, I should put in Mickey Van de Beek. Who was that? Whoever said I should pick up Mickey from Tottenham. Actually, I think I might do that. So let's drop Munoz. Let's go and pick up Van de Ven. VDV. Oh, wow. VDV only had 32 points last year. I guess how long was he hurt, though? Because that is, I guess, the only thing. His hamstring might be absolutely obliterated from last year. Yeah, Tom's underrated, but they just got unlucky last season. I mean, yeah, so many injuries. All right, so we'll put in VDV. We have Virgil van Dijk, so VVD with VDV with Cucurella. I mean, I kind of like that. We're going to take out Miley, and then we're going to put in Reiners then because he makes the most sense to go into that midfield then. Because then we're actually having side 5.5. Yeah, okay. Because now, man, I wish my midfield I can actually rotate a little bit, which is kind of nice. I do like that now. FCM, I've got a bench of 4.5 and then the rest on the 11. You try to for balance squad or heavy on starting 11. I mean, typically I go heavy on the starting 11 most of the time, but with changing out Mohamed Salah, it definitely just allowed me to balance out my entire squad. I can't show you my squad off the screen unless I somehow can take off the green screen, which I don't think I can do for the most part. If I flip the camera, does that do it? No, it doesn't do it. Okay. I was hoping that that was change the green screen. Anyways, we're looking at my squad right now, so I do apologize. I'm mispronouncing some of these names. I probably gonna mispronounce some of them. Keller, which I always have a hard time saying his name. Brentford goalkeeper, starting the back. Defensive wise, now we have Esteve from Burnley. We have Cucurella. We have Paul Torres, Virgil van Dijk, VDV from Tottenham. Midfield wise, we have Reiner from Man City, Cole Palmer, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Alanga, which I do think is a good signing. And our attacking third with our forwards is Isak, Gyökeres, and Bowen. That might be the final squad, actually, when I'm thinking about this. And then we're gonna captain Cole Palmer, I think. I think we gotta go with him as a captain. And then I'm thinking who Who vice captain though? I guess I would go with Bowen. Bowen actually make him captain. Jared Bowen captain. Cole Palmer vice captain. That's what we're probably gonna do. Yeah, I do really like this squad. Actually, I was pretty adamant that I was gonna be going with. Oh man, hold on. I just. Oh man, did I lose it? Sorry, if you are just joining in, I found a tick on me, and I thought I killed him, put it right here, and now it's not there. So now I'm not too sure where it is. Cool. Team. You want my team name? I haven't. Did I select my team name yet? Where would that be again? Well, let me save this. I'm going to save this before I forget. Make transfers or confirm save. All right. So I'm not currently in any leagues as of right now. Show me your squad. We can't see. I can't show because it's a green screen. If I flip my phone like this, you can't see anything. Like I can't show you because it is going around me. So I apologize. Yoga is the only player I disagree with in that squad. Too pricey for not being a prem proven player. Yeah, probably true. But I do think again, if he goes off like crazy, his value is just going to go up. But he could also go crazy. Yeah, exactly. So again, it's one of those. And the fact that I also have Isaac and Bowen in this squad, it's not like I have to rely on Jokeres being a baller right away. Like I can wait for him to kind of get used to the team setting because Isaac, if he's playing for Newcastle, is still going to be phenomenal. If he gets transferred to Liverpool, obviously still going to be phenomenal. And Jared Bowen, his matches that he has in the beginning, Sunderland, going to do well. Chelsea, he usually scores against Chelsea. And then Nottingham Forest, I also think is a good matchup for him for the most part. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. FCM much harder this year. I mean, this year is going to be, I think, the most difficult for fantasy just because of the changes in the points. If Isaac gets transferred, he's going to drop 30 goals easy. This is my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I do think he could easily drop that much. So I would not be surprised by that for the most part. And I do think Alanga is still a solid pick for Newcastle in that area. So, like I said, right now I'm not in. I don't think I'm in any leagues or I didn't create any leagues. So I'm not sure if anyone is in any or recommend I join any here. I think I'm just in my Chelsea league for the most part. Yeah, we're in that one. And what's your midfield? Midfield, we have Reinertz, Semenyo, Alanga, Cole Palmer, Bruno Fernandez is the midfield. You're not going to bench boost first game week, then I would go for Mark Yu for 4.5 and 4 million defender. I mean, I think you're going to wait. You shouldn't bench boost right after week one because it usually makes more sense to do it on a double game week because then you can really tackle on points with your entire bench. Um, Actually, you know what? The only guy I didn't look at was Poro, which now I'm kind of thinking I should have looked at him for the most part, but we will just see here in a second. I'm gonna. I'm just adding a few things to my list here. Why can't I pick this? Try prompt. Oh, that's why. Okay. So I was trying to add a badge to my team here. We have double the chips this year, right? I don't know if we do or not. I think so, but they're getting released at different time frames. It's not like you can use them back to back weeks. Can you show your team? I cannot because I'm on a green screen right now and we're on a live. If I wasn't, I could show the team, which I guess I'll probably make a video about it. But real quick run through Keller from Brentford. And actually, I need to make some subs here. So wait, hold on. We're going to sub him in. We're going to take up Paul Torres, sub. We're going to put Jared Bowen in, sub, and take a Reinertz. All right, so starting 11, we're doing the 3-4-3. So yeah, keeper wise, we got Brentford. Then we have in our defense, Cucurella, Virgil van Dijk, and VDV for Tottenham. Then midfield wise, Semenyo, Alanga, Cole Palmer, Bruno Fernandez. And then our front three is Bowen, Isaac, and Jokeres. So again, I do really like this team. And we're putting the captaincy on Jared Bowen. I think That makes the most sense. And then vice captain on Cole Palmer for this up first week. Yeah, you get first batch at the start, and then after January, you get your second batch. Yeah, so I mean, you do have more this year, but you can't just use them right away here. So I'm just seeing if there's any other leagues I'm joining here for the most part. Join a league and cup. Yeah, we're gonna join one. Join a public league. Yeah, we'll just join a classic here. So I'm just joining a few leagues here. Join, create and join. No, renew your league. Okay, there we go. All right, I think we're all good with picking who we did. So, well, Mo Salah. Also, I don't think Keller will perform. I think he's an average keeper. I mean, he only has to be an average keeper. If he has a bunch of saves throughout the week, that's all that matters. Look at Mark Flecken last year. I don't think he's a top-rated goalkeeper, yet he's made so many ridiculous saves last year because Brentford just they allow shots, but not difficult shots. So again, he's going to have a lot of saves. All the double game weeks are going to be at the end of the game, so why not use my first bench boost? I mean, you could. These are, like I said, it makes more sense to do a lot of those when there's a double game week. You want to usually kind of tinker around and start making your team get better and better because you're really just taking a big gamble on game week one who's all going to start because it could all go in any direction. You think a manager's going to start someone and then they don't, and now you just wasted your coin on that. Why no Salah or Holland? I didn't go with either of them. I had Mohamed Salah in the beginning, but then after we started making some changes, it just made more sense not to have Mohamed Salah in this squad. But I mean, again, having Mohamed Salah makes so much sense because he was the best scorer last year, not just in the Premier League, but in fantasy as well. But like I said, I just looking at what we have here, it just makes sense in my mind to not go with him. So I'm going to end that.